It was supposed to be just another elegant evening at one of New York City's finest restaurants. The lights were dim, the city skyline sparkled through the glass windows, and soft music played in the background. But within minutes, the entire place fell silent, not because of the music, but because of what one man did to a young waitress. A tall, well-dressed man in a sharp gray suit stood towering over her, his face red with anger. The waitress, no older than 25, was on her knees, trembling. Her tray had fallen. A glass of red wine spilled across his expensive shirt. And before she could apologize, he shouted so loudly that even the kitchen staff froze. "Do you have any idea how much this suit costs?" he yelled. She tried to speak, but tears streamed down her face. "I'm sorry, sir. I didn't mean to." Then he raised his foot and kicked the chair beside her, sending it crashing against the wall. "You're pathetic," he said, his voice full of rage. Everyone in the restaurant stared in shock, but no one moved. Then, through the silence, her soft voice broke the air, "Please, don't kick me. I'm already hurt." The words hung in the air like a plea for mercy, fragile, human, and heartbreaking. Hey everyone, welcome back to Kindness Lights, where we share real stories that remind us that even in the darkest moments, kindness can change everything. If you believe in the power of compassion, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment below. Your support helps us spread kindness across the world, one story at a time. Now, back to our story. The man who had been shouting was the regional manager of a major corporation. He was used to being in control, used to people saying yes and never no. Tonight, he was hosting a business dinner meant to impress an important guest, a quiet, older gentleman in a blue suit sitting across the table. What no one knew was that this gentleman wasn't just any guest. He was the CEO of the company, and he was there undercover, observing how his employees treated others. The waitress, named Lila, had been working double shifts all week. Her mother was sick and couldn't afford treatment. Lila was doing her best to cover hospital bills and rent, often skipping meals herself just to send money home. Yet, despite her exhaustion, she always wore a gentle smile, the kind that made customers feel seen and appreciated. But tonight, she was struggling. Her hands shook slightly as she served because she hadn't eaten since morning. When she accidentally spilled the wine, her heart sank. She already knew what came next, the humiliation, the scolding, maybe even losing her job. The restaurant fell into a painful silence after her plea. The man in the gray suit looked down at her with disgust, but before he could speak again, the older gentleman stood up. "James," he said calmly, "that's enough." James turned, startled. "Sir, she ruined the evening. She spilled wine all over me." But the older man didn't raise his voice. He simply walked over to Lila, who was still trembling on the floor, and gently helped her to her feet. "Are you okay, miss?" he asked softly. She wiped her tears and nodded, trying to compose herself. "I'm fine, sir. I'm so sorry for causing trouble." The man smiled kindly. "You haven't caused any trouble. Please, take a seat for a moment." Lila looked confused. Waitresses didn't sit with guests. But he insisted. As she sat, the older man turned to the entire room and said, "I think tonight, we've all seen something important, the way someone treats another human being when they have nothing to gain from it." Everyone stayed quiet. Even the waitstaff behind the counter stopped moving. He looked at James and continued, "You see, leadership isn't about control or power. It's about respect. And if you can't treat people with kindness, especially those serving you, then you don't deserve to lead." James's face turned pale. "Sir, you don't understand." "Oh, I understand perfectly," the man interrupted. "Because I'm the one who signs your paycheck." A murmur rippled across the room. James's eyes widened as realization hit him. The man standing before him was Mr. Harold Benson, the CEO of the company, the one who had built it from scratch and was known for his humility. I came here tonight to see how my employees treat others when no one's watching, Harold said. And now I've seen enough. He turned back to Lila. You, young lady, showed grace under cruelty. You apologized, even when you didn't have to. That says a lot about your heart. Lila didn't know what to say. I was just doing my job, sir. He smiled. No. You were doing something much more important. You were showing kindness when you were being shown none. Then he turned to the manager. James, consider this your last day. We don't need leaders who can't lead with empathy. The entire restaurant let out a quiet gasp. Harold reached into his pocket and handed Lila a business card. Come by the office tomorrow. I think we can find a place for someone like you, someone who understands people. Tears filled her eyes. Thank you, sir. I don't know what to say. Just promise me one thing, he said. Never stop being kind, even when the world isn't kind to you. The next morning, Lila walked into the company's headquarters, nervous but hopeful. She was offered a new position in the company's community relations team, where her empathy and patience became her greatest strengths. Months later, she would go on to lead a project that helped dozens of struggling families in her community, inspired by the same kindness that had once saved her from despair. And as for Harold Benson, he often said later, that night reminded me that success means nothing if you lose your humanity. So, the next time you're frustrated or tired, and someone makes a small mistake, remember Lila. Remember her words, please, don't kick me. I'm already hurt. Because sometimes, people are fighting battles you can't see. And the smallest act of kindness could be the one thing that helps them stand again. Thank you for watching this story on Kindness Lights. If it touched your heart, please like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who needs a reminder that kindness always wins, even in the hardest moments. Together, let's keep the light of kindness shining.